Welcome to the Process of the Paraprosdokian, Episode 4, Diving Deeper in Faith. A podcast where I, Nathaniel Philip Mosier, a.k.a. the Paraprosdokianist, go through my week and share with you how I patiently endured the pain of life with the help of people in order to engage with my purpose, gain some perspective, and live to tell the tale. Along the way, I'll share with you some life lessons, show you how you can prepare for lessons to come, live a life of sacrificial offering, teach those willing to listen to those willing to teach, and hopefully discover some Paraprosdokians. Now, that's a whole lot of words that start with P. Well, let me tell you, it's on purpose. Paraprosdokian is Greek for against expectation, and is a technical term for one-liner. Paraprosdokian is a figure of speech where the second part turns in an unexpected way, making you reevaluate the meaning of the first, also known as a turn of phrase. I think Paraprosdokians are a lot like life because life can turn in unexpected ways, making you reevaluate the meaning and the moments that came before, changing your perspective. I think pain can lead to purpose, leading to perspective, and that process can be summed up in a Paraprosdokian. As long as you live to tell the tale, sometimes to get through the pain, you're going to need a whole lot of patience. They say tragedy plus time equals comedy. For me, tragedy plus rhythm and rhyme, that's song. Now tragedy in the moment, that's poetry. Any great quote, lyric, or line of poetry is usually a Paraprosdokian. That's why it gets stuck in your head, because the second part of the phrase makes you reinterpret the first part, resulting in a perpetual loop of inexhaustible meaning, and I'm on a search to find the best ones, but I need your help. The patient endurance of pain leads to purpose and shared perspective summed up in a Paraprosdokian, but none of that is possible without people. I used to play a lot of Marco Polo alone because I was just trying to find myself. That Paraprosdokian is called Marco Solo. Now I know better. Don't go around playing Marco Polo alone. You're going to get hurt. Welcome to the Process of the Paraprosdokian, where my goal is to teach people how to not want to kill themselves, and it's called purpose. But we got to start at the pain. So this week, I just came back from scuba diving. I spent the weekend at Catalina Island and at a pool in Hawthorne scuba diving. And wow, I've been waiting 3 years to do this. I wrote a Substack post about this the weekend before I was getting ready. And I'll just read some excerpts from it to you. I won't read all of it. You can go on my Substack and get that. I'll link it in the show notes. oneliner1.substack.com. I'm going to get scuba certified next weekend, and I'm terrified. I've been in love with a scuba instructor for 3 years and didn't make the dive until it was too late. And so this weekend I did it for the first time. I'm writing this at a coffee shop that I've spent many days writing at, attempting to decipher my life and where I stand in God's story. I work here as many days as I can, sitting at the same spot, staring out the window, writing, playing chess, talking with regulars, figuring out next steps. It's the same spot I wrote my one-man show at many years back, digging myself out of a deep depression, the likes of which many close to me could never even imagine as a reality one might suffer. Every weekend at those same tables, I play chess, learning how to lose gracefully and make quick decisions despite the catastrophic failure that might beckon if I misread the proper threat. Chess taught me how to lose and not feel like a loser, trash talk without feeling like trash, and weather a tough position despite feeling like I'm being held underwater. A few weeks back, I finally played a game worthy enough to be featured on the Chess Channel, filmed every week here. Coffee Chess, go check it out. This video I posted. Down the street is the Eco Dive Center, where I'll be getting my dive certification next weekend. It's a 2-weekend process, and so this was the first weekend. As I'm writing this, I'm getting ready to fill out my medical paperwork and rent the equipment necessary for instruction. I'll be heading over once Tanner's closes at 5 p.m., making sure everything is squared away. For 3 years, just about from December of 2020 to February of this year, I was dating a scuba instructor and made the excuse that I couldn't get scuba certified because I didn't have the money. It cost about $1,300 and ended up being more like $1,450 plus the parking for the food, the what else at the tip. So it's not to mention the expenses to do boat dives in the future and travel. Started saving about 8 months ago to have the funds to get the cert and also travel to the Philippines where I'm planning to dive as well. And the honest truth is, money was not the thing holding me back. Fear was. My ex loved risk-taking, adventure, thrill, travel, and that was what compelled me to be with her. I thought to myself, if I could only spend time with this person and be around with her, maybe her fun and carefree attitude will rub off on me. And it did. Started to learn a little bit about fun. But fear will rear its ugly head and steal fun away in the dark of the night, bringing up all your past resentments in an attempt to get you back under the covers where no one will hear you cry. Ironically, when you're under the water, you can cry all you want. Every time the opportunity presented itself for me to learn how to ski, participate in fun athletic activities like capoeira, or face the insurmountable and bungee jump, I cowered in fear and made an excuse, barking, "You just don't get it. I'm not privileged like you are. I didn't grow up with parents who let me take risks like you. Bark, 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 and no bite. It's always about money," was one of the final boneheaded things I said as I sharpened the knife into someone I adored. In 3 years, I went skiing once, did capoeira 3 times, and went scuba diving in a pool at a scuba convention. I remember telling my cousin, if I don't learn scuba diving by next month, my girlfriend is going to break up with me. We did. That same scuba convention, I went to a few different panels, each about a different topic related to scuba diving, and one of them taught me life lessons through the metaphor of diving that remains seared on my psyche to this day. The panel was hosted by the LA Coroner's Department, and it was answering the question, why do people die from scuba diving? What a morbid, moribund, bellicose bummer of a topic. And yet I learned something worth sharing with everyone. If you're diving with someone else and they start to become unresponsive and need to come up for air, one of several things you can do to rescue a problem diver is to release their weights. One must take on more weight to dive beneath the surface, but when things get too heavy and you feel like you're drowning, let go of any extra baggage you might be holding on to. Get to the surface for some air, take a deep breath, and ask God to give you the strength to go deeper once again. Sometimes we feel like drowning. That doesn't mean that we're out of breath. Sometimes we feel we're dying. That doesn't mean we're close to death. When you feel like you're drowning, when you feel like you're dying, when it feels like you want to give up, maybe you're holding on to something that's going to sink you deeper than you're capable of going at the given moment. Ask God to reveal to you what you need to let go of. Let go of it, no matter how painful it might be. And maybe on the other side of it, you'll experience the fullness of God's love and grace. Lord knows I have, and now I'm ready to finally dive deeper than I could ever imagine. This is a song that I wrote a while back, which actually will become the theme song to this podcast called The Other Side of You. And I did it. Now, I still have one more weekend to go, but Saturday we went to the pool at Hawthorne, and we did the preliminary skills. We started off in the shallow end, and then we went to the deep end, and it was wonderful. They asked why I did it, and I shared some of the information about, how I was dating a scuba instructor, and they laughed and all that stuff. But I was very afraid, it's like driving. There's a lot of training. It can be very dangerous. I mean, way more people die driving than they do scuba diving. But it's scary at first to be down there, I was in the shallow end, and 3 feet, 4 or 3 feet, you could stand up, and so you're not, even if you ran out of air, you just stand up, right? And there's no decompression. You have to equalize every 3 feet or so, and so you're barely in there. And I was feeling myself getting scared and, thinking I'm going to run out of breath and all these catastrophic thoughts. And the Lord said, "My son, even down here, I'm with you." And I just cried. Because even in death, he's still with me. Even under the deep water, he's still with me. 30 feet underwater, he's still with me. God's always with you. And so you're never alone, no matter how much you feel like you're out of air. He's there. And so it was a beautiful moment. And Sunday I went out to, woke up super early, went out to scuba on a Catalina. And I saw my ex-girlfriend and her family, and I went over to the bathroom and just dropped my stuff and just broke down crying. So much released in that moment, because I had been waiting for that for so long, to see her. I hadn't seen her in 6 months, but just to finally do this thing that I had been wanting to do, that I'd seen her videos, her underwater photography, her videography. It was just breathtakingly beautiful to be down there. It's a different world. It's the scuba would not be possible if it wasn't for NASA and going to outer space. If we didn't learn how to go to outer space, we would have never been able to go down there. And I didn't really see anything crazy. I didn't see a giant sea bass or, a shark, or, I saw some little fish. Our instructor fed an abalone, and I didn't even see it. And, I messed up a little bit. I went up early, and we had to stop the dive, and because I got stuck, and, on the ascent. I don't know, someone's downstairs making noise, probably my mom. But it was tremendous. And the deeper you go, the more that you can realize the fullness of God's grace. Give me 1 sec. Stay tuned while I tell my mom to stop making so much noise. Mom! Are you down there? Hilarious. She was not down there. Well, that's funny to put here. I'm in the upstairs attic of my house, and I have a little studio here at my parents' house, and so I love it. Never thought I would love moving back home so much, but just watched a thing at school today. I was in a financial literacy class, substituting, and they watched stuff about money, and it's like a few of the things that people save a lot of money on, or the biggest expense are home, car, and food. I'm like, got that all covered. I moved back home. My mom bought me a car, and I'm paying her back. No interest. So anyways, but yeah, the deeper you go, the deeper the opportunity is to learn the fullness of God's grace. And I don't know who's going to see this, but it's a weird thing to see. I reunited with, I talked on the phone with one of my exes, and then I saw her, and I think I love all of them more than I did when I knew them, because I know how much God loves me now. And I keep learning more and more how much God loves us so much, and we continually reject him. And that's the story of the history is God loves us and gives us life, and then we reject him, and that culminates in Jesus on the cross, the most brutal rejection imaginable. And he still loves us. So if I can even understand that through the pain of unrequited love for somebody that I adore, whom I have hurt. Jesus didn't hurt us. We hurt him, but I've hurt her. I've hurt many people. And I regret it every single day. But I know that I have to learn how to love. Christian life is about learning to live within the limitations of being painfully human. I said that on the last episode, and nothing will show you more the limitations of being human than being underwater with a limited amount of breath. And yet, it shows you how we can transcend those limitations and explore the true beauty of this life. There's so much life out there that we haven't even seen. People, places, things, other life, sea animals. Animals we've never even seen. And so, I encourage anyone to do it, to save up the money and learn to scuba dive, even if it's just to experience it. I'm going to do it in the Philippines, so I'm going to try and do it a few more times. But that's it for this part of the episode of Pain. Stay tuned for the next episode. I'm splitting these up into pieces. I'll take a little break and come back on the next episode with Patience. And be talking a little bit about some deep questions. So stay tuned for that, and I'm excited to keep moving forward on this process and sharing with you the things that I've learned. Until next time, yours truly, the Paraprostokinos.